I am. And so one of
ready?
the challenges that we're having is his face recognition on his device. And so because we have had you guys waiting, we're just going to have him talk to us like this. Hey, Mr.
Good
Faison.
evening, Mr. Faison. Welcome, welcome.
Say hi, Mr. Faison.
Hi, how are you doing, guys?
Okay. Hi. You have everyone waiting anxiously for you.
Oh, I'm really sorry about that. I'm challenged.
That's okay. That's okay. Well worth the wait.
But you see me? You see
Yes,
me?
yes. We
Okay.
see you.
I don't see you, but that's okay.
As long as we see you and we hear you.
Do you want me to turn it?
No, you are perfect. No, you are perfect the other way.
Oh, you were perfect. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, Mr. Faison, this is welcome to the Brooklyn Alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We are excited to have you.
And I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much.
And so I want to introduce you to our Madam President. Madam President, can you please, here you are, Madam Kenya Moore.
Yes. I'm Kenya Johnson, the proud president of the Brooklyn Alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And I'm so happy you're here with us. As I was telling the attendees and Sora Duncan Smith, the Wiz is such an integral part of our youth and our culture. And it stays with you from when you were young to adulthood. I can watch it, and many of us can watch it over and over and over again and still see something different every time. The choreography is second to none. Second to none. So I thank you for all your talents, your gifts and your talents that you bestowed upon us, that you blessed us with. So thank you again, and thank you for being here. Nicole, I can't hear. Oh my God.
It's not association, but it was all that time. But
it's the National Council of Negro Women.
Right. If you're going to talk about the authenticity of that organization, you know, I think it was started by Mary McLeod Bethune, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Dorothy Height were very instrumental in making that come about. And you proud Deltas are carrying on that tradition. So it's
yes,
like
we are.
really great.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I love that. But as you said, you know, it's just like when I'm talking to you, it's just like talking maybe to Dr. Height or my uncle or any of them, because the struggle and what brings us together is the same. We are united in that struggle. You don't hear much about that because your newer organizations like Black Lives Matter and all of the other wonderful organizations that are out there pushing and pressing for freedom and jobs and working and all of those things that should be part of our daily life, which aren't. We're fighting for those and fighting to keep those freedoms as well. And that is what your wonderful organization has always been. Protectors of the race in a sense. And a lot of the other things that the wonderful social things like this program that you keep the people informed and aware of what's happening to them.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I have a question for you, Mr. Faison. What pulled you into the arts? How were you introduced to the arts? Because at that time, just what led you to the arts? What led you to that profession?
Number one, if you, some of this is before television. And if you were lucky enough, and we were lucky enough to have a TV, in our house, and we saw a lot of just what was the regular white programming that you saw at those times, when you grew up in the 50s and the 60s and you were in the 70s, and you were shown that the world finally came into our homes, and we were able to witness what people had not witnessed. And then when we saw Bloody Sunday, that riot down there in Alabama, and saw firsthand the horror of being attacked by dogs and fire hoses and those things, it gives you another kind of awareness. But when you grow up Black, you grow up learning your history. And at that time, we were learning our history. And whether you learned how to dance from your mother or your father, or you sang a song, or you went to church, or you did all of those things, we had our culture. It was living. It was in our presence. And also all of the challenges of being Black and growing up Black and trying to integrate a hostile world. I really like the way that you make us feel, ladies, when you greet us and so forth. And I think that is what's missing so much in what we're doing. We're not welcoming. We don't welcome our children. We don't put on not a happy face, but we don't welcome. You can come here. You are not foreign to us. This is what drove me to dance. People didn't know us. We talked about integration, and integration is every story, every incident, every challenge that you present to ignorance, darkness, rumor, lies, conjecture, all of the things that go to keep people, divided, stories that they're told by their families and so forth. It's like you're confronting that. That's what was happening when I was growing up. I grew up in Jim Crow, and they were hanging people in the South and so forth. And the terror of, the Freedom Riders and the buses being blown up. I grew up in that kind of time where the newspapers would, bring you, the news of how many people died or how many people were lynched or all of those things. But, you're a bright light. And you've got to remember that you're a bright light in the fact that you bring us the news. And sometimes we especially since we built this country, since we own this country, we have to keep that kind of communication open. And again, welcoming. When you don't welcome, especially children, I think of all races, any kind, they become something else, fearful, apprehensive, all of those things. But when you welcome them, there's another kind of attitude that comes out of them, and they should be free enough to express themselves and to feel that what we are calling, or what we feel,
Mr. Faison, I got a question for you.
What?
This is my friend, y'all. So, Mr. Faison, so you went to Howard University, right?
Yes. went to Dunbar High School down in DC.
And then you went to Howard.
The first high school and then Howard, yes. And I ran into the Howard players, and all of that.
And why did you leave Howard?
Oh, one night, a friend of mine, I met a friend of mine, said, I want you to come and see this dance company that's going to be at Crampton Auditorium. I said, dance company. A few weeks before, I saw this stunning picture of Revelation with these Black people, their arms stretched, to heavenward and so forth. And this was a concert that I went to. They were appearing at Crampton Auditorium back in the 60s. And I went to the concert and it changed my life. Yeah. I mean, I realized this is what I wanted to do in my life. Yes, I wanted to dance. I wanted to express myself like what I saw on the stage about story and learn what I learned about storytelling. And that was my vehicle. That was the thing that I was able to tell all my stories. That is how I was going to fight for civil rights and everything and without words, I was going to show you. I was going to show you my pain. I was going to sorrow, sadness, but I was going to also show you my triumph, my spirit, my ability to do anything I wanted to. And through that, and through dance guiding me, and Alvin Ailey and all of the people.
So that was the dance company, Alvin Ailey. The dance company was Alvin Ailey.
Alvin Ailey, American Dance. That was the company that I saw on that stage. I'm telling you, it hit me to the bone. I mean, it spoke unspeakable words to me, beyond anything that I could have imagined. Any of the literature that I read and so forth, the moans, the joyous screams, I was in my element. I saw everything. Other choreographers, the great Tally Beatty, who choreographed The Road Up the Stevie Snow, which West Side Story was, borrowed a couple of those that attitude and how we dance. I saw Black people beyond what I had in DC growing up. And then they were dancing with Asian people too. Takako Asakawa was one of the great Graham dancers. Martha Graham was probably the mother. Was not the mother because Ruth St. Dennis was the mother and Ted Shawn was the father. They were white. They danced up in Massachusetts, and they brought us modern dance, Doris Humphrey and so forth. They fashioned a modern dance. They were white people, yes, but they had found a way of expressing themselves through these movements and through this other technique. And then that mixed with what we do, what African Americans do, make it a powerful combination, combustible combination of how you feel when you first see Alvin Ailey, the movements, not quite ballet, but but a modern, more earthy, barefoot sometimes, reaching, stretching to the sky. I mean, there's nothing like imagination, I'm telling you. And if you get an opportunity to express that, to release yourself, to be able to give it up to the spirit and unconsciously, follow your heart into that.
How long did you dance with Mr. Ailey?
3 years.
And what was that like? What was that like? Who did you dance with?
Well, he introduced me to the world. We went to Europe, the first country we went to was Portugal, and they were, they sang sad songs like we did, and like the blues. Everywhere you go, you see how we are everywhere. Our spirit is everywhere. It is amazing, how people gravitate to us, understand us, feel our pain, feel, are happy in our joy, and so forth. So that's what propelled me. I was dancing. I don't care what I was dancing about all the things that were going on at that time and before. Blues Suite, a celebration of the blues music. We danced to, it told the tale of those saloons and what is that? Bucket of Bloods, which is what they call those nightclubs and things, and those honky tonks and things. So you learned all of that. Our people are stretched all over this country, and they have all their own versions. And you wonder sometimes, how did they get way out here? Of what are they doing? But they were doing it. Whenever they had, their good times, they did that. And we did too. Growing up in D.C., was hot. And we had the Howard Theater. Every city has their own theater, the Royal Theater and so forth. But modern dance was different because of the combination. It's totally American. And, I started out dancing, Shakers, which is the Quakers doing their shout. Everybody has a shout. Everybody, has a religion. Some people stand in front of walls, mumbling prayers to that wall, to that other deity, that thing that's bigger than all of us. That's what dance is, and that's what what God has given us. And to express all that is the greatest gift that we can have. Just sorry.
That's okay. We got you.
Hearing you, Mr. Faison, I can still hear your passion and love of the art of dance. And as you speak, I can feel your excitement for your love of it. And right now, that's something that a lot of people don't get in life, right? Because they don't find their it. You walked in, you saw it, that was your it. And that it stayed with you to this all the way through, because I can still feel it from you. You exude it. And that's just a wonderful thing to see that for someone for a lifetime to fulfill their passion and what's innate in them and what's natural for them. And they can live their true purpose and walk in their truth. So that's a wonderful thing that I'm feeling from you right now. Something you would wish on everyone.
So, Mr. Faison.
I wish that on everybody. And then when I do my outreach, a lot of people think we're singing and dancing and so forth. But no, we're going inside where you live. Your very soul is going to be, is a celebration. We keep hiding things and not really expressing that. And then life goes on, time goes on and so forth. Share your genius. Just share it. Be happy. And, not a lot of people can be happy, and that's the sad part about it.
Mr. Faison, while you're talking about your genius, right? A couple of years, can you just move back for a second so I can see you? Yeah, there you go. A couple of years after you left Alvin and Ailey, you started working on the production of, it was kind of like an urbanized version of The Wizard of Oz. That was 74, 75. What was that? What was that like?
That's when we began to do the Wiz. We were going out on the road and we were going to tell that wonderful story that was based on the original thing that we loved, and that was The Wizard of Oz. We loved that. We owned Judy Garland too. She was ours. We didn't care. You know what I mean? Because she made us feel like one of her. She was growing up trying to find the things that were already in her. Courage, you know, a heart, you know, a knowledge, you know, all the gifts that you should be enjoying as you're growing up and learning about life and moving forward. And that was everything. Only because I did all of that. I did all the dances, you know, you try to do and suck up everything because you own everything. Everything that you are introduced to, you can take a piece of that. It's part of you. So that's what I was doing. I had formed. I had danced with How You Act up in Harlem all of that time. Yes, I wasn't. I came here initially, joined Arthur Mitchell with his first company, and found out that Alvin's company actually went to the event and substituted us, so we didn't have a job. But Lewis Johnson had come to Howard University and was putting a musical on us called Jamaica.
Rest in peace, Lewis Johnson.
On Broadway with Lena Horne.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when that whole Ailey's thing started. And then, you know, you go on and you try. I wasn't coming back home. You know what I mean? Once you leave, I wanted to be a success. I wanted to be, I wanted just to be. You know, I didn't care. I was a part of something, and they were, and all of them were great. All the people.
So let's talk about the Wiz. Where did you get that from?
And then when I formed my own dance company, I left Alvin Ailey. I stayed with them threes. I then formed my own company and did my own dances. You know, like I was asked one night that my dance company, the George Faison Universal Dance Experience, danced at Joe Papp's Delacorte Dance Festival. And I was doing one of my creations, Sweet Otis, which was a suite of 5 dances, the Otis Redding music, and the audience went wild. And then at the end of that, a man came up to me and asked me what I like to do, a choreography, or he would like me to do the choreography for a musical that he was doing based on The Wizard of Oz called The Wiz. So so I said yes, because I loved the name, I loved everything about it, and I loved dancing and everything. And it was going to be a Black version of The Wizard of Oz. And then then he took a year or so later, he got the money. And there we were in rehearsal, getting ready to do The Wiz. I met Stephanie, and Charlie said Stephanie was going to be Dorothy. And here she was, just a 15-year-old girl that could sing. That voice.
We can't see you anymore, Mr. Faison. Can you?
Oh, what happened?
There you go. Oh, you was moving too close. So you were moving close. It was close. Then you be perfect right there.
Okay.
So what was it like? Like, how did you come up with those? Like, first of all, how did you come up with the tornado scene? Like, come on. Like you.
That was later, everybody had their concept of The Wiz and so forth. I didn't really do that until later. Mm-hmm. Doing a musical is really very difficult, and you don't get it right the first time. The first combination, it's never on the second combination. You got to go out on the road. You got to cry and fight. You got to cut costumes. It's bitter. Are you going to make it? Aren't you going to make it? Hell no. Why are y'all doing The Wiz? And why is she Black? Why are y'all doing an all-Black version of The Wiz? And so forth? That's what we were greeted with after we struggled to put a very different difficult thing because this was the first time we were going to do magic. We were going to do magic. It had nothing to do. It had everything to do with how we grew up and experienced life, but not. We were able to create it. You know, and sometimes the mistakes turned into wonderful things, like the Yellow Brick Road. The costumes were wonderful, and so when they had poles, and I had used poles in some of my dances and so forth. So we had poles and these brilliant yellow costumes, but we had 15-foot trains. Now, what were we going to do with that? So I had them pick the trains up, and and just simply put them over their arms. So they had a pole in one hand and the tails from their tail coats over their arms. So I solved that. You're solving problems all the time. Everybody's insisting on what they want. So you got to make it work for everybody. So I changed until I got the choreography every night, every day, every chance I got, and until I thought it was right and perfect, and it was right. But the tornado was at the end. It was Jeffrey had designed a huge ball gown like Scarlett O'Hara. The first girl tripped and broke her ankle.
What?
So she was out. That was the first week or two of rehearsals, and then it's just organizing all of that. Who's going on first? Who's coming off? How are you going to get those costumes rotate? Are you going to be able to when you go to all different lands, make them seem like you were going someplace and different? So it stretched everything I had. So, but at the end of it all, it was in front of our faces all the time. The poster for The Wiz is the tornado.
Oh.
And I looked at it one night and I said, well, that's it. You see the girl's leg out there, and then there was something coming from her head. So there it was, Eureka. Paul Glazer, famous illustrator, did that poster for The Wiz, the original poster for The Wiz. I will always be grateful because it was my inspiration for The Wiz. So everybody was, you're all working. You're putting a musical on is a collaborative thing. You're fighting, you're arguing, you're cutting costumes like I did, almost getting fired. I cut, but really it took me out. And I went with it.
So what was the difference between doing something like The Wiz and then doing something like If This Hat Could Talk?
But that was our history. I think the form, it still has to be moving, and it still has to entertain. It has to be informative. It's got to tell people everything we want to know. And at that particular time, we weren't really telling the stories. Yes, we could come on stage, we could do a song, kill you, and so forth. But having it directed, when you direct it, when you focus it, when you listen to those words and you make duets, you then make trios and quartets until you have the chorus and then the orchestra. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So, understanding that technique, having played instruments and, sang in the choir and all of that, I could use all that. So by the time I was like 25 when I started, I was 26 when I started on The Wiz.
No, you weren't. You weren't no 26. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I won the top and I had a birthday on December 21st. I turned 27. So by the time The Wiz opened on Broadway in January 5th, 1975, I turned, what, 27.
Wow. Wow.
And that's when I won the Tony.
Wow.
So, but it was a fight. And then they can't lie. We fought the director and the composer fought over Dee Dee Bridgewater. But anyway, that's another story.
Messy boots. So
In a bar in Baltimore. Oh no, it was crazy. Stu Gilliam, who was the scarecrow, had gotten so tired of rehearsing. He said, "I'm not." And he played the scarecrow. He said, I'm not coming in tomorrow. I'm taking the day off." And and everybody looked at him like he was crazy because the producer was informed that the producers, 20th Century Fox, were coming the next day. Can you believe that? They were coming the next day and he walked out. But in the chorus, I had a young dancer that I had met on the street with his sister. And they were from DC. And I just watched them, like when you're a choreographer, you just look at people, how they're moving, and they can teach you a great deal about how quirky we are and wonderful. But anyway, I saw them on the street and I invited them to the audition and I cast them. Hinton Battle was in the American School of Ballet, and he was on his way to being a ballet dancer, had feet, legs that stretch from one wing, to the moon. Beautiful, 15 years old. So when Stu Gilliam said he was not coming in, we were desperate. We had to find the scarecrow. And voila, God steps in and gave us in a 15-year-old Hinton Battle. So Dorothy and the Scarecrow were now 15, but the magic they did even that first time. And 20th Century Fox saw him go on. We rehearsed him all night. He was a dancer. So he was a natural. So there, that miracle happened. And so the show got young, began to get younger. And with the creation of the tornado, we exploited that backbeat. You know what? Da-da-dum-dum, boom. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, boom. Bum 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 bum, and you were gone. We had heard Shaft with Isaac Hayes and Hot Buttered Soul. No, we were going there. We're going to turn the sucker out. And we let it take it. You use what you have. That was, and there was a chance for us to express ourselves outside of ourselves. So I just had a ball. I know I made some people mad. I yelled at people. Yeah, I know y'all talk about me bad, but that's okay. But we got there.
Well, you're a genius, so they usually talk about geniuses.
I don't know about it. You can say that all you want to, but who knows? You're a genius. And then it was, and then I could syncopate the rhythms. I know we weren't, because you needed all of that, and the wind blowing, and that tall, skinny girl. So the cone, from the bottom of the cone to that centripetal, circle that she would make at the top, and that streaming headband. it would, that's what about. That's what it is always about. All of those choreographers that I worked with, I was so grateful, to work with them and see their creativity, black, white, yellow, everything. It's amazing to be a dancer. Amazing.
Mr. Faison, we have some questions in our chat.
Yeah.
Some people want to ask you, so we're going to take about 3 questions. Madam President, can you see the questions? Because I'm trying to hold this. So ask 3 good questions to Mr. Faison. We're going to wrap up at 8:30.
I don't really see.
Right, because we don't want no bad questions.
Y'all, Mr. Faison is all that in a bag of chips, as some people would say. He worked with Tupac, Paris One, as well as Dorothy Heights and the rest of them.
I choreographed Tupac in '92 when he came out because I was feeling him. We felt that in the '60s. I felt all of that. We had all of those people. They lived. It's just an extenuation. Life goes on. We keep reinventing, recreating ourselves. Don't stop. Don't be discouraged. You're on to something. Please.
Please put your questions in the chat.
Okay.
There's not really any questions in the chat, but so
really good.
Nothing.
What kind of questions did you get?
Let's see. I don't see any questions. Please put your questions in the chat. What do you feel made you successful as a creative?
I didn't let anything stop me. Yes, I took criticism, and I took all, and sometimes I read the good things, but I took the criticism and turned it really around, turned myself around as well when I made all of those things into positives. What people could say that you don't know. Guess what? Go on and find out what you and turn that into something. And then they are amazed. So I found out so much, and because people could list it, and not everybody wants to see you there. So they, they're stumbling blocks and all of those things. But you got to just look beyond them. The prize, your dreams, your aspirations, all of that's at stake. And you put together your best. And that's all I wanted to do. Always. Always. I mean, I may have been, you get a little ruthless in your pursuit of the truth, but the truth is worth fighting for. The truth.
Absolutely.
Then we can deal with conversation. Then we can talk. And then if we can talk, we can walk. Then we can dance. We can do anything. All of that. But again, just welcome. We just got to watch each other.
All right. Tracy asks,
anyway, God gave it to you.
That's right.
Tracy asks, why has the Wiz endured? Why has the Wiz endured, in your opinion? And what can we as creatives take from that secret sauce in creating our own works?
Authenticity. Authentic you, who you are, who you've been flavored with. All of that goes into making something extraordinary, something lasting, because you need your knowledge of all of the things around you, the inquisitiveness that you had or have or can get. You're looking beyond what you see, in a sense. That makes and you know what has gone before us. Innovate. You know, it was, people have been doing everything that you want to do, and imagine somebody has done it somewhere. That's what I think. But it's the combination, how you put it together. That's the secret sauce. How many like tricks do you have? Not tricks in the sense that, so you think you can dance and some of them don't last but 15
Ooh.
seconds.
Mm. Mm.
People do. You know how people do. We're human. We're human. And
We have a question from LaShawn Rogers.
going forward, go for it. You got a dream, go for it. Go for it. Don't just continue to, sit on the idea or wait for it to be perfect. Do it. Just get out there and do it. And it's all about what you do, right, Nicole?
It sure is.
Mhm.
It sure is.
So here you are. You're on the radio. Watch out, Oprah.
Oh Lord.
Anybody.
Anyway, I love
We
you.
have the last question. Did The Wiz, the movie, reach out to you for any advice or technical assistance?
What do you're saying, the crew? I mean,
Did the movie reach out to you to help?
and I think that that's really sad. You got to take the best parts. Now the tornado that you saw on the stage will last forever, because I got to the heart of it. I got to the soul of it, what a tornado kind of would do. And the people around, those men in black that had the umbrellas and things like that. I had done that in my own dance company with to Stevie Wonder music, Superstitious. I made it like a New Orleans kind of
Wow.
line thing. You see what I'm talking about? See, that made you say that. I want you to see, you reacted to my words. That is what we've got to do. I've seen a couple of, young choreographers that are on their way. Don't let them stop you. Make that body do exactly what you want it to do. Make that feeling come up. That is the secret sauce, the authenticity of just who you are. You may not think you're anything, but you're in the theater. It's make believe. You can make anything up, and I think that's what I got. I got that lesson. When they talked about how innovative. I don't know, innovative. You just giving yourself up to the spirit is allowing yourself to be used. You have the technique, and then you stumble on such secrets that the world, so generously bestow upon us. It's just like, you got to do something with it. So improvisation and all of those kinds of things, tools, allow you to do so much. And criticism, somebody will tell you, maybe that's too long, or maybe that's too short, or you don't do it quite that way, and so forth. It's all of that.
Mr. Faison.
Yeah.
So let us, as we wrap up, we want to give you your flowers. We want to tell you how special you are. The Brooklyn Alumnae chapter, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, is almost 75 years. We were chartered in 1949, right? And for the last 20 some years, we've been giving out this award called the Kuumba Award. And the Kuumba, which means creativity. And this year, we want to bestow upon you the honor of being our Kuumba recipient.
Oh, wow. Thank you. What a deep, that's a really great honor. Thank you. Thank you so much. Unbelievable. Okay, there is hope. Ah, Nicole, there's hope.
There's some hope. There's some hope. But and we're doing it because not just because of the Wiz, but because for the last 50 some years, over 50 years, you have invested in Blackness, in universal Blackness, not just in the United States, but all over the world, changing the way people see African American people in artistry. You have reached out to people inside our race and outside of our race and told them that they are the reflection of all that is good in creativity. So we want you to know, if nobody's told you just how amazing and dynamic you are our very own national treasure. There is none better than you. Like we honor you with, if we consider our Kuumba Award as great as the presidential honors. And so if our charter sisters were still around, Catherine T. Alexander and all of them, they would agree with us how amazing you are.
But look what they left. Look at the legacy they left, Nicole. You and all of the president of the organization, all of you, we did it for you. Everything that we could have possibly dreamed, and to be here, yes, you say 75 years later, here we are. Who would have thought? And then after, and coming through that fire, with you, and you survived, and all of the energy that your predecessors, gave you, that shining light. You can't put it out. It's eternal. That eternal light burns in you. So that's the great thing. So we've won, and we got to continue to win. This work that you're doing is monumental, and I'm so glad you're here to actually do it. You know what I mean? And doing it. It's a blessing to me, a blessing to the community, and especially a blessing to all of the women that you are inspiring to do and to keep that family going. All the tools that you've been given. That's what you offer. That's what you will represent. Home.
Wow.
Madam President.
Wow. I'm just overwhelmed. I'm so full because you spoke so many nuggets just on being genuine in yourself and life. And that's such a key. How I was raised, you always walk in your own truth. It's never another way, because God put it in you, and He expect you to walk that divine path. So you just made me so full this evening, and reaffirmed life, the lessons we receive in life, what we're supposed to take from them and go forth, and how we're supposed to give back our gifts on this earth. So I want to thank you so much for coming and taking the time and sharing yourself and your soul and your spirit with us. Thank you so much for that. Nicole, you have his information to get his award, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, this was really something. You got to come to the theater.
And that's important too. So we do have to come to the theater, but we also want to make sure that we'll send this out to our constituencies. We need to support the Firehouse and make sure that when it comes down to our government officials giving out grants, when it comes to donations, that organization that is 100% Black owned is supported. Again, he's one of our treasures. We need to make sure we support him.
We are in right. We are a beacon, and I'd like to invite you, to come. But while we're here, I don't know. I've been trying to to relinquish some of those duties because I want to come out and I want to see the people. I really do. I come and speak and talk firsthand with the people because I think that they have a lot to say as well, and to affirm them as well. It's this has been amazing, and I'm just so glad to see that you're there and in tune and ready and willing and working and sending that. I think they have to hear your voice too, because then our work hasn't been in vain as well. So
we're still out. We're still registering people to vote. We're still out there in the front line with social issues. Delta is still out there doing the work that Dr. Height, that you know very well, that Dr. Height has instilled in us as our 10th national. We are right there, right, Madam President?
Absolutely. As we're here with you, we have many of our sorors at City Hall right now, letting them know what our demands are and having our presence. So the work continues. Absolutely, the work continues. And thank you.
Your presence is recognized. So that's what's so amazing about what you're doing and talking about. I was drawn to this, right? You were talking about the Little Mermaid.
Yes.
As well as it's the same as the winds. That is the territory taking over.
Yeah.
That is the territory that is yours. You own that. You have that right. You own it. We're commercial enough. We've done all of the and we're free enough. You're free, yes. And this is that's the good part. Somebody believed that little girl could be the mermaid. And there were some people that wanted to see another kind of Little Mermaid. And since you guys have been developing as an economic force, actually, you have been the economic force ever since you picked that first handful of cotton, okay?
Amen.
You had your hand on the pulse of what was real, okay? You own this. You built this. This is you. And so you can try anything that you want. And you own it. And if you don't own it, take ownership.
Hey, if you don't own it, snatch it up. I love that spirit. So my sisters and brothers who have joined us today, we thank you for your patience. I know you were blessed. I'm trying not to let y'all see all my library books.
But that's all I see.
You see my books? You see my books?
We should see your face.
Well, you want to see my face? You gotta see my face this way, but I would have to turn it around to show you my face. But this is fine.
Oh, I got you. No, if you move the camera, there you go.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap this up, Mr. Faison. We thank you so much for spending this time with us, and we love you. We
where are you guys?
In Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
The planet of Brooklyn.
I know, but where?
I'm in Bed-Stuy.
No, but where your organization is?
In Brooklyn.
We're
Brooklyn.
Yeah, so we serve the community of Brooklyn. Yeah.
Don't anybody have an address?
Oh, no, we're not going to give you my address. No, we're not.
We'll send it to you. We will send it to you, Mr. Faison. Absolutely.
We got a P.O. box number, Mr. Faison, but nobody comes.
Because I think people may want to write you guys.
Well, they can reach us through our social media.
Oh, that's right.
We have the Instagram and we're trying to get you. There we go.
Instagram, Facebook, Brooklyn Alumni. Brooklyn Alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So we're on all the social media sites. Mhm.
That's
And we have
fantastic.
our website. We also have our own website.
That's
Mhm.
great. Dr. Hyde would really be proud.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
He
yes.
really-
This whole day has just been you just dropping names like, oh, Arthur Mitchell, and when Alvin, and you didn't even say Stephanie's last name. We just all knew who you were talking about. And I get to say, and George.
Right.
And you said Lewis.
Johnson.
Johnson. Oh my goodness, he was another one.
You said Hinton Battle.
Right. And Letty. She danced with the men. She was so strong.
And Jeffrey Holder, and
Yes. Jeffrey Holder. Ken Harper was the producer. Charlie Smalls was the composer and lyricist, and he won 2 Tonys.
wow.
He won for lyrics and he won for music. First Black man to do that.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Right, on Broadway.
Amen. So we're about to wrap up. I love you. You guys have an awesome
Love
one.
you, Mr. Faison.
And happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll make sure we come to the theater. Absolutely.
We gotta take a trip to the theater.
Yeah, we will.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, take care. Love you.
Love you more.
You. So we want to thank everyone. Go ahead, Nicole.
No, we do want to thank y'all for just sticking in there. That was an expensive. Y'all was seeing my books and then it was all over the place. Seeing my keyboard, but you got jewels. And one thing we do over here in Brooklyn Alumni is we complete the objective. And if we said we're going to bring y'all Mr. George Faison, who honestly, he's about to be 80, right?
Wow.
And so the fact that he was so cognizant and so on fire, even on the FaceTime, as he kept saying, I don't know how we're going to talk on the phone. I was just like, just answer the FaceTime. He went and got a neighbor in, and then at one point the Wi-Fi wasn't working, but we figured it out. And we will go through those extents for our elder statesmen who have paved the way for us to be here. And I'm sorry that we were not able to get the chat enabled, but I was trying to get him here. So I'm glad y'all stuck on.
Everything worked out. Everything worked out how it was supposed to work out.
It did, and it was lovely. And we got the honeydew that's going to come in and do his magic, and we'll be able to get this up over the weekend, edit it and figure it out. And so you guys will get a really wonderful full presentation.
Yes, Brooklyn Alumni has a podcast. Nicole, tell them about the podcast, please.
If you follow us on the Brooklyn Alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, if you go to our YouTube page, you will see the Brooklyn Alumni Red Talks podcast that we do. And really it is, you guys are the audience. We use the footage from all of our Red Talks that are done on Zoom, and we drop it as a podcast. We get it edited up. We got a little commercial going on. And we just trying to move, and we're trying to have fun with it. You guys, I thank you for coming through. And he said, you were afraid of the munchkins. I'm afraid of the munchkins also, because people always say that the munchkins remind them of me. We, all the way from we represent the lollipop girl. Like, come on, like, not even just the munchkins. The munchkins and the Wiz were scarier than the munchkins and the Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz was scary too, because all them white people had the same face. Praise the Lord. They had the same face.
Praise the Lord.
And it was like, and they had the lollipops, and it was like, we're coming to get you. That was scary, but not as scary as the Wiz. The Wiz. So, but the Wiz was, amazing, and he was amazing, y'all.
So we want to thank you for coming, and please look out. We have it's the 18th.
The 18th next week.
So can you please let them know who's coming on?
So we have next week, we have Miss Lilius White from the Hercules animation. She's one of the first Disney folk, black, it was the black, we're calling it the browning of the American musical, so Disney Noir. And she's going to jump on and talk about what was it like to be an African American in a very Greek story, Roman story, and to represent one of the muses, which is just traditionally done by white folk. So we're going to see that. Super excited. First of all, Lily is white. Y'all know she did everything. Dreamgirls, like she's on Broadway right now, which is why that particular Red Talks would be at 4:00. And she done already told me that, you know, she does this all the time. And Miss Lilius is, you know, the best interpretation of a diva. So she's excited about that. And then at 7:00, we'll be working with a woman named Michelle Jean Greer and another woman named Ed and Duncan Smith. And they're both from Soror Ed and Duncan Smith, who are both cast members of Disney's Lion King on Broadway. And the goal here is to talk about the impact of Blackness in the American musical. And it, like Mr. Faison alluded to counter the narrative as we go into celebration of the Little Mermaid, the Black folk can't do these stories that they think, these cartoons, these fairy tales, these fake stories. We can't do it as Black folk. Like there's been a Black woman playing Elphaba in what's the Broadway musical? Wicked.
Yeah,
Wicked. So Elphaba was Black. Like, so you can't stop us. Like he said, it's ours for the taking. So thank you all, and we love you.
Thank
See
you all
next
so
week.
much. And please
And
follow
us.
Alumnae.
And wait for the next thing. You never know what we got going on.
Never. But thank you and enjoy your evening. Take care.
Night.